it's time for The Outer Worlds, a new game of Obsidian Entertainment. I was looking forward to this game for quite a while. It's been released pretty fast actually since they announced the game. I think they already developed the game, or was in development, before Microsoft bought Obsidian. But now it's released under the realm, or the helm, I mean, of Microsoft. And I think that's a good thing that Microsoft bought Obsidian. I think Obsidian deserved it because they've been through some rough times, I think. I'm not sure how rough, but at least they were a great, promising studio back like 15 years ago when they made the sequel to Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, which was a good game but not really that finished. The same happened with Fallout New Vegas, of course. It's the most prominent game they made, I think, and that the fans actually love. The fans love KOTOR 2 too, but Fallout New Vegas was infested with bugs when it was released. So yeah, Obsidian had to rush the product maybe a little bit, but the soul was there. It was definitely a better game than Fallout 3 that Bethesda themselves made. So Obsidian is really a studio that showed that it can create a very interesting narrative experience. They showed it in Neverwinter Nights 2. Then they made their own game, Alpha Protocol. There's only one game of Alpha Protocol, which flopped. It didn't do well critically and commercially. So yeah, and that's set back the studio a little bit. They went a little bit under the radar until they started some Kickstarter projects. Pillars of Eternity, the most prominent one. They made a sequel to that too recently. Those were great games, isometric RPGs that put Obsidian back on the map. They also made South Park Stick of Truth, but yeah, it was a little bit, that was not really their core business. They make like open world or narrative role-playing game experience, Western style. And that's really what this game is about. They also made Tyranny, another isometric RPG, but this is like the AAA game that Obsidian deserves, and it's getting great reviews. So I'm really intrigued to see how good this game really is. It's supposed to be a mixture of Mass Effect, Fallout, and Bioshock, I've read, with some open worlds. I think it's an open world game. I do not know very much about it. It's not as big as Fallout, but it's very quest heavy, very narrative heavy, and it's supposed to be pretty non-linear in the approach of how you deal with quests. So I'm expecting a lot of talking my way out of battles, because I'm always like to play a character that is very speechful and has high, what's the word for it? Why can't I come up to that? Charismatic, that's the word I'm looking for. So let's start a new game. I'm playing this on PC, by the way. It's in the Epic Store, not in the Steam Store. I think it's coming to Steam 1 year later. Yeah, it's fine by me. I guess I'd like it better if it were on Steam, not the game. But yeah, I do not know the Epic service very well, but here it is. The game is here on my PC, so it's working. Of course, you can play it on PS4 and Xbox One. It's coming for Switch as well at some point in the future. But yeah, let's just start a new game. I've been messing through the settings a little bit, and it's not really that special that you can do, tweak things, but there are some interesting RPG features that you can tweak with a little bit, but not really that special to show you. Select difficulty. I'm going to play a normal mode because I always play my games normal at first. This is the recommended mode for your first play session, which it is. So normal mode, enemies have standard health and damage, which is cool. What if I would select story? Enemies have less health if you enjoy story more than combat. Not necessarily. This mode is for players who are looking for an extra challenge. Supernova. The hardest difficulty can only be selected at the start of the game and is recommended for advanced players. If you choose difficulty, okay, enemies have more health. You must, yeah, okay, it's a survival run basically, which is cool. I tried to play with that in Fallout 4, which was pretty cool, and Skyrim. Companions can die permanently. That's taken over from Pillars of Eternity, I think. Crippled body, weapons and armor work very poorly. You can only fast travel to your ship. This is interesting from a role-playing perspective and survival perspective. This would be a very interesting mode to play, but really not before I try the normal mode. Maybe when I'm done with the game, which can take many hours. The game is supposed to be 40-50 hours long, which in my case I'm pretty much a completionist, so that could take a little bit longer. Then after that I might be looking into the Supernova mode if the game is resonating with me. Alright, let's normal. Okay, yes, I've already checked this in the options settings, so I'm fine with that. Showing the subtitles. Continue. So Halcyon is the world we're playing in, I think.
Why stay earthbound when prosperity awaits you in the stars? Come to Halcyon, the only colony on the edge of the frontier, owned and operated by corporations. A trip of 10 short years will feel like mere minutes, thanks to the comfort and safety of your very own hibernation chamber. You'll wake up in a perfect society designed to maximize your productivity, with guaranteed full employment. With only a minor term of service, you will become the master of your own destiny when you go out of this world to the Halcyon colony.
Hundreds of thousands of colonists left adrift out here forever, just to keep from damaging the board's bottom line. Disgraceful.
So this is my character creation. This guy, Phineas Wells, is responsible for creating me, apparently. I'm a bit of a fabricated human being. So it's probably a dystopian setting that we're playing in. Science fiction, of course. That's pretty much all I know about it. I've seen a trailer like 2 years ago, and then I just blocked myself off from spoiling myself. All right, so let's get through this character creation. We have 6 points remaining at the attributes section. Body, mind, and personality is what we can tweak. Strength affects melee weapon damage and the amount you can carry. One-handed, two-handed melee heavy weapon block. Inspiration, intimidate. Those are pretty familiar terms if it comes to Western role-playing games, especially if you play the Elder Scrolls or Fallout. Probably the character class I will be going for. So I can... How do I adjust it? Alright, we can change it to good, high, or very high.
You look like you can take a beating.
And it goes to below average to average.
Ooh, they must have been feeding you Spacer's Choice rations.
There's a penalty for that. Tactical time dilation, whatever that means. Drain for movement is doubled. Average high,
No
very
signs of
high.
muscular atrophy. Splendid.
Let's set it for too high for now. That takes up... How, oh no, there's good as well. Let's put it at good. 5 points remaining. Dexterity. Affect melee attack speed and range weapon reload speed. Which I don't really care that much about. Let's do not invest a point yet. Intelligence affects critical hit bonus damage. Which... Is that all it does? Let's get 1 point into that as well. Perception affects headshot and weak spot damage bonuses. Let's put 1 point in that. I might be creating an all-round character, but at some point I want to specialize. But maybe at the start of the game it's a good thing to actually spread a little bit. Charm is a thing, like I said, I would want to invest a lot of points in, because I want to have all the conversations options, if it can be. So it affects faction reputation and companion ability cooldowns. Oh, I've missed the skills actually. Let's have a look at the dexterity skills. Handguns, dodge, block, sneak, lockpick. Nah. Intelligence, long guns, persuade. Persuade is good. Hack, medical, science, determination. I like the persuading part. Perception, handguns, long guns, heavy weapons. That's more of an engineering job. Charm, persuade, lie, intimidate, hack, science, inspiration. I like that. Let's put 2 points in that already. Get some bonuses there as well. And temperament improves your natural health regeneration. We can lie with temperament, but you can also lie with charm. Two-handed melee, I don't care for that. Sneak, medical, engineering. Medical is always a good to have. Let's put 1 point in that as well. So that's a little bit leveled out character. Probably want to invest more in strength in the future when I'm leveling up. But for now, let's put the highest amount of points in charm. Skills, just hit next, basically. Yeah, alright. 2 points available here. We have melee. Don't really care for melee. Ranged. Improves critical hit chance. Yeah, ranged skill improves your weapon sway. I do like ranged when it comes to sniping. I never like ranged in like fantasy role-playing games. But in this case, yeah, probably the long guns, right? Increases the weapon sway while firing rifles. Can we invest those points actually? Because it says 9. Defense. Skill is improved your ability to avoid damage, which is very useful, of course. Dialogue. There we go, I like that one. It improves your ability to talk with NPCs both in and out of combat. And we can talk to NPCs in combat as well. Persuade, lie, intimidate. Okay, stealth, sneak, hack, lockpick. Not really too fond of that. Tech, medical, science, and engineering. I like the medical part. Leadership, inspiration. Interesting. And determination. Increases the maximum health of your companions. Well, let's see what we can do here. Let's do some dialogue. Oh, wait. That was the wrong button. Dialogue. There we go. Select.
You could make a vicar doubt the law.
Okay, we just initiate 1 point by selecting one of these skills. Okay, so it was already higher because we've set the charm level to, what was it? Very high. So now we've already got to 26 points. That's pretty high if you compare it to the other points. And let's put the other available point, because since this is already pretty high, leadership, long guns, I might want to look at defense a little bit, because yeah, it could be handy to level that up.
Good.
There we go.
I need someone with an instinct for self-preservation.
Great. Aptitude. Now what does that mean? It's kind of your job, or who you were, like a sign, if you can compare it to Skyrim. Okay, let's get through them. No discernible aptitude. Colonist sounded like a nice entry-level career for a person of your skills. Expanding humanity's reach by civilizing the cosmic frontier was ambitious enough without worrying about your day job. You had the rest of your life to decide how to be useful in Halcyon. Because Halcyon is, that's probably how you pronounce it, because in the intro someone said Halcyon. Okay, so determination +1 if you don't want to have a bonus, I think. Beverage service technician. The Halcyon colony needs good people, but it will settle for ones who can mix a memorable drink. As a human cocktail shaker, you've made concoctions that could end wars of fuel-skip drives. You're still trying to balance out the flavors of a truly signature, old-fashioned though. I don't really care for that. Drink effect duration. Each aptitude corresponds to a small bonus. Okay, bureaucrat rank 0. The universe operates on laws. Required paperwork. Halcyon is no exception. If something isn't stamped, filed, unfiled, referenced, redacted, certified, indexed, and numbered, then it might as well not exist. Birth certificates included. Probably going... might be going with that for now. Cashier, subgrade, non-supervisory. It seems we can level it up as well. No transaction is finished without a smile. You live for the ka-chunk of a bit cartridge, getting inserted right side up, the redemption of loyalty points, and the promise of a good day. Come back real soon. Bye-bye now. Are more than empty words. They're a promise and a standard you intend on carrying to the frontier. Persuade +1, which is good. Construction, electrician class, wire spooler. Contrary to popular belief, cable management is an art form. Something about hiding electrical wiring behind panels to maximize airflow just makes you sigh with relief. Colonists don't need to worry about the bypasses and workarounds that keep the power flowing. That's your burden to shoulder. Don't care for that. Elevator operations specialist. A proper lift goes up and down. Anyone who thinks otherwise isn't fit to wear the badge. Being a specialist means something where you come from. A commitment to upward and downward mobility that doesn't have a price tag. Don't care for that. Factory worker, conveyor operator. Safety and efficiency don't always go hand in hand, which is why so many of your co-workers at the factory were amputees. You survived the trenches of the assembly line long enough to know when a hydraulic press just wants to pancake some fingers. Thankfully, you managed to keep all of yours. Farmer, dirt. You got into this business for the tubers, but you stayed for the plowing, planting, pruning, and plucking. It isn't honest work if you come home clean. Worms need dirt and food needs worms. You're just doing your part for the worms. N-ray damage. No. Food additive tester. Sometimes quality control means sampling a delicious borscht smoothie, but most of the time it means swallowing toxins until you find one that stays down. Reminds me of eating up the ingredients in Skyrim. You'll have a good surprise now that your stomach lining has the consistency of a broken-in saddle. It's easy to explore your culinary limits. Don't really care for that. Janitor, sanitation class. You spend your evenings kneeling over ominous stains with a bottle of caustic solvent and an absorbent rag. How the blood got there is irrelevant, above your pay grade and beneath your interest. You're an artist of erasure. When you're on the job, there's no trace to be found. Okay. Tossball, team mascots. There isn't a problem in all the cosmos. The team spirit and a big stick couldn't solve together. Your last major head injury in the field knocked some extra cheer into you. And you've been a rising star in the Tossball's competitive mascot food chain ever since. It doesn't matter that no one knows your face under the mask. You share glory with the team. Inspiration. Medical technician, junior grade. Prior to leaving Earth, you earned the trust of the medical community's most esteemed junior surgeons, who entrusted you with stuffing cotton balls into pill bottles. Experience on the job made you realize that diagnosing illness doesn't take a formal education when a search terminal and a little imagination will do the trick. Medicals +1. Safety inspector. In your line of work, the corporation's bottom line needs more protection than its personnel. Guardrails aren't free, thermal shielding needs replacing, and the hatch that seals reliably is a luxury. You're on the vanguard of ensuring that every possible expense is spared, since corners don't cut themselves yet. You prefer to think of workplace accidents as happy little coincidences. I take it when we're going through with character creation, my character probably doesn't have a voice. Not sure. That's an assumption. Could be wrong. Scientist assistant level 0 class A. What did this do? Plasma damage. Okay. You've cleaned out enough test tubes to develop a keen instinct for what goes in them and why. Maybe you didn't get into the business to mop up the leavings of failed experiments, but that's just part of the job. Even if you can't unsee what happens in the lab, you can at least learn from the mistakes and enjoy some colorful nightmares. Science +1. Sous chef. The hierarchy of a modern kitchen is a ladder of many rungs. Your role as assistant to the second deputy chef's aide is one of middling distinction, but you are honored to pour your heart into the ritual emptying of grease pans and the back-breaking labor of gravy restoration. You're holding out for that advancement to poultry inspection, which is due any year now. Probably going to with the another persuasion point with the cashier. There we go.